Hello students, I welcome you back to YouTube classes. So far we have seen the different problem solving methodologies, different types of approaches towards programming, and also the steps for solving a problem. Now we need to implement the solution which is manually prepared using some languages in a computer. We call it as coding. So let's find out how it can be implemented using C++ language. Before that, we need to know why this was developed and who developed it. Till 1980, C programming was used widely and it was popular. But there were some drawbacks in the C language. Realizing this, Ernest Rautzov developed C++ at AT&T Bell Laboratories in later 1980. Let's find out the characteristics of the C++ language. One of the methodology or approach towards programming is the object-oriented programming. C++ supports object-oriented programming, and of course it is designed for object-oriented programming. Second one is the portability, in the sense this can be executed in any environment. Irrespective of the operating system, C++ programs can be executed in any environment without making any changes. Modularity, a process of dividing the given problem into sub-problems is called top-down analysis, top-down approach. In the programming, a bigger program is developed, and because of some problems in the single program, it's been divided into smaller sub-programs called modules. This approach is called modular programming or modular approach. C++ is developed with modular approach only. C compatibility, in the sense if the program is already written in C language, that can be incorporated in C++ programming or C++ program without any modification. C compatibility, that is called C compatibility. Flexibility, it is highly flexible language and versatile language which can be used for developing different types of application software. These are the major characteristics. Apart from that, we have speed, machine independent. Of course, all the high level languages are machine independent languages, and wide range of library functions. It has been told it has the wide range of library of functions. In the sense, there are in the language, there are so many library functions or predefined subprograms which can be used in any application we want. Large collection of predefined subprograms are available in the C++ compiler. I was telling you about different types of programming can be implemented using C++. In the sense, it can be to develop the operating system, compilers, editors, database, and other things. Next, since we need to learn the language, first we have to find out what are the basic characters set available. Like we have an English language. In the English language, there are letters, digits, which are used in the framing of the sentences. Similarly, to learn the C++ language, we need to know the basics or fundamentals which are necessary for writing the programs, writing the instructions in the programs. We call them as character set. Like we have alphabets in English language or in any communication language. C++ we have alphabets, digits, and also some special characters which are used in the framing of instructions or commands. Instructions or commands. Coming back, alphabets, uppercase and lowercase letters are used in the language, and of course it is going to differentiate between the uppercase letter and the lowercase letter. Digits, of course, 0 to 9. Special characters include comma, period, apostrophe, exclamatory mark, etc., etc. All these characters are being used in the framing of instructions in the C++ language. We are going to learn these things one by one later. Now, basic are the smallest units, smallest or fundamental components in a program are called tokens. They are used in framing of the program, writing the program. And tokens include identifiers, reserved or keywords, constants or literals, punctuators, operators, etc. Like we have all the punctuators in English language, predefined words in English language, names which are used to identify a particular person in English language, etc. We do have the components or basic individual components are called tokens in C++. Identifiers. Identifier, it is something like it's a programming element given to the memory location. Crores of memory locations will be there in the computer. When we store the data in the memory, we need to have a way to access the data from the memory. Like we have our names to identify ourselves, identify persons, we do have some kind of programming elements called variables or anything which is stored in the memory like function, arrays, objects, etc. We need to assign some name to the memory location because all these components are stored in the memory. All these programming elements will be stored in the memory. That is the reason why we need to have a name that is given by us only. These names are called identifiers. Some rules we need to follow to frame an identifier. The first one says it's a sequence of characters that includes letters, digits, and of course there is one special character which is allowed in the identifier is underscore. Identifier should begin with a letter or an underscore. As I told you earlier, C++ treats uppercase and lowercase letters as different. No special characters are used in an identifier except the underscore. And of course, underscore cannot be continuous. It can be any number in the variable but cannot be continuous. Keywords or the reserved words which are present in the compiler or in the language should not be used as the variables. But of course, there are certain compilers have some limitations in having the number of characters in a particular variable. But let us not worry about that for the time being because we can have any number of characters in a variable or an identifier. There are certain valid and invalid identifiers specified there, given there. Valid identifiers are these things: STD name, marks, either capital letters, small letters. Of course, you can see the underscore given here, but these underscores are not continuously used, and letters and digits are also used in the variable. You can see all these are the valid variables. These are the valid variables. Invalid variables can be, see, they can see one invalid variable. I told you earlier, it should start with a letter or an underscore, but it is starting with a number or a digit. Okay, there are blank spaces used in this. Okay, and it is continuously used here. 1, 2, 3, no letters in this. Okay, so because of all this, these become invalid variables. We need to follow the rules for framing the variables when we are constructing a program. Keywords. There are some keywords present in the language, like we have English dictionary words, words in a particular language, English words are there. Like that, these keywords are predefined words in the language. Predefined words in the sense with some definite meaning. Specific meaning will be there for these words. These are also called reserved words. Some of the examples are given here, like if, for, else, etc. These are the few keywords present in the language. Apart from these things, these are few examples, and these are the keywords present in any language. Like we have dictionary words, we can have keywords in the language. These are called keywords in the language. Constants. Constant is a programming element which do not change during the run of a program, execution of a program. When you are executing a program, these things will not change. Example, 100 is there. 100 is always 100. It cannot be changed. Suppose it is assigned to another literal, another variable, let's say A equal to 100, B equal to 145 or something like that. Values of A and B can be changed. That is why they are called variables. But let's come back to these constants. These constants are also called literals in the C++ language. They are classified as integer constant, real or floating constants, character or single character constants, string or set of character constants. Let's say these things one by one. Integer constant, it is like a whole number which has no decimal point in it. There is no decimal point in any number. Examples are given there. A equal to 100, B equal to minus 145. It's a signed or unsigned numeric constant with no decimal point. And when there is no decimal point, there is no question of fractional part in the constant. Further, they are classified as decimal, octal, hexadecimal, etc. Now the detailed classification of constants are given here. Basically numeric and non-numeric constants. Character and string constants are called non-numeric constants. Basically these constants are not used in any calculation. But in C++ they are used in some calculation because they can be used in the arithmetic operation. It uses the ASCII equivalents. ASCII in the sense American Standard Code for Information Interchange. That code will be used in the calculation if I use these constants in the calculation. Numeric, further classified as integer and floating point. Integer I told you already, with no decimal point, it can be a whole number, positive or negative, signed or unsigned we call them as. And they are further classified as decimal, octal, hexadecimal and unsigned also. There is a difference between signed and unsigned. Unsigned, it will occupy the entire set of bytes used or allocated for a particular type of data which is to be stored in the memory. Signed means it is going to take a part of it to mention the sign, use the sign, positive or negative. We will see those things later one by one. Integer constant, I told you already, decimal constants are there, octal integer constants are there. Decimal constant, it counts from 0 to 9 as we know already, and we are used to it. Octal integer constant, it starts from 0 and it counts up to 7. There is an example given, b is equal to 97. It's an error because 9 is not an octal digit, something like that. Hexadecimal counts from 0 to 15. You'll be wondering, there are only 10 digits you have, 0 to 9. But how can we represent 15, 11, etc.? 10, of course, it is the combination of 1 and 0, isn't it? But in hexadecimal, 10 is represented with the letter A, 11 with B, 12 with C, like that it continues up to 15, that is F. Unsigned, I told you already, it is going to occupy the entire set of memory locations assigned to a particular variable. That is called unsigned. Floating point constant. That floating point constant means the decimal point which is placed in a particular real number can be placed to any position you want. Like for example, there is one value given, 134.56. With the help of exponent, the decimal point can be shifted to any place you want. 134.56 into 10 power 2, that is 13,456. Or if it is 10 power 3, it is going to be 13.456. So decimal point was there in the after 4. Now it has been changed to after 2, something like that. It contains two major parts, mantissa and exponent. Exponent is optional. If you want, you can have it as a part of your output or input or in the calculation. But a whole number can be used with the decimal point. It is called floating point constant. It can be a positive or negative. Generally speaking, it's a real constant. It's a signed or unsigned real constant with or without fractional part, but it should have a decimal point. Fractional part need not be there. 10 point, 10.0, 10.56, 15.56. These are the few examples for the floating point constants. Character constant, I told you, character constant is a single character constant which is placed or enclosed within single quotes. Apostrophe, you call it as apostrophe. Single quote, CH is equal to, within single quotes, P is given there. So it's a single character constant. Normally it is not used in the calculation, but I told you it uses ASCII value when it is used in the calculation or if it is used in the calculation. There is one thing called type conversion. Compiler takes care of converting the letter into the digit, letter into decimal value, letter into ASCII value automatically. Every character can be a letter, can be a special character, can be a digit. Every character will have the decimal equivalent called ASCII because in the computer memory, the data is stored in the form of binary number system, binary numbers. Letter A cannot be converted into binary, but if it is having a decimal equivalent, 65 capital A, 66 capital B, like that, those values can be easily converted into binary and then can be represented in the memory. That is the reason why ASCII codes are used. The next, certain escape sequence characters, we are going to use it in the program. Basically, they are used to control the output on the monitor, maybe to place it in appropriate position on the monitor, or it can be sent to the printer also or to any output device to format and to print with some special effects. These escape sequence characters are used. In case you want to have a backslash as a part of the output, double time, 2 times you need to use that backslash. I'll show you one simple example is here. This is the backslash. If you want it to be a part of the output, then it can be placed twice in the output statement. If you need to mention the question mark as part of the output, then it can be used like this. These are the escape sequence characters. Basically, they are used to control the output on the monitor. Similarly, maybe to print the output in the tabular form, maybe a horizontal tab is there. You can use that to print it in the tabular form. You can see the table prepared. While preparing this table also in MS Word, let us say, we use this table and we use the tab key to go to different positions directly to enter the data. Similarly, while printing the output using a program also, you can make use of these, the escape sequence characters to control the output or to format the output on the monitor or in any output device. These few characters are also used. Even though there are 2 characters here, they are treated as single character as escape sequence characters. String constant. I told you string constant is a set of characters. You can see str of 15 here. Str of 15 means this is str of 15. This str of 15 is to hold a set of characters. Let's say C programming. Maximum of 15 characters can be stored in a particular variable. That is called str of 15. Str means it's a variable used to hold a set of characters. You can make use of the variables to store a set of characters as part of the constants. This is called a string constant. String constants to represent the names, subject, title, etc. Different places these are used. Even in the word processing also, these set of characters are used. Word processing is nothing but string processing or text processing or string manipulation. So in such applications, string constants are used. Punctuators. Like we have the punctuation characters in the English language like question mark, full stop, exclamatory mark, etc. etc. We have certain punctuators in the C++ programming also, like for example, exclamation is there. That is basically used with the equality symbol to say not equal to, not equal to. So that symbol is used as a not operator and it is also called a punctuator. Percentage symbol, that is used to format the output, and also if it is used as an operator, it is used for finding the remainder. Ampersand is there. Next one is ampersand. That is used to represent the address of the data. If it is used as an operator, as a single symbol or the character, then it can be the bitwise AND. 2 times if you use it, it is going to be logical AND. Next you will get those operators in the same discussion. Semicolon, brackets, semicolon, the simple brackets, square brackets, parenthesis. Simple brackets are called parenthesis. Flower brackets are called braces. All these are the simple punctuators used in C++ language, especially C++ language. C++ operators. Operator is a data modifier or data manipulator. When you have a value, suppose you have a value 10 in location X. Just now we have seen variables are used to store the data. X is a variable and 10 is the value which is stored in the memory. When you increase the value of X by 10, like X equal to X plus 10, then it's going to be changed to 20. It is like a modification of the data. Similarly, X equal to X into 10. multiply the value of x by 10, it changes to 100, something like that. So these are called operators. They are classified as arithmetic operator, relational operator, logical operator, increment and decrement operator, they are called unary operators, conditional operators, bitwise operators, assignment, and other are special operators. Further, these operators are classified as unary, binary, and ternary. What is meant by unary? Unary operator means the operator expects only one operand to operate. Binary operator expects two operands to operate. Ternary, three operands to operate. That is the meaning of unary, binary, and ternary. These things will be discussed in detail, one by one. Let's see. Unary operators, logical NOT, just now I told you. When you say X, if you want to say not X, exclamation mark is used. It expects only one operand to operate. Ampersand is to give the address of an operand. Tilde is to get one's complement. See, in the number system we have studied about the complementing, one's complement, two's complement, etc. To find one's complement, we use the tilde operator. That is nothing but a unary operator. Similarly, plus, minus, star are called the unary operators because they need only one operand to operate. Like for example, star is a pointer operator. Plus is a unary operator to assign the sign. Plus is an increment operator. Minus is the decrement operator. They need only one operand to operate. Increment operator. Just now I told you plus can be used as an increment operator. There are certain things called pre-increment and post-increment also. You can see a plus a is there, that is pre-increment, that is increment and then use. Post-increment means use and then give the increment. Similarly, you have minus, a minus is there, or minus a is there. These two are also called the pre and post decrement operators. They give one increment or one decrement to any variable. And of course, I told you already, these are called the unary operators. Okay, a minus is same as a is equal to a minus 1. The value of a is decremented by 1. A plus is equal to a is equal to a plus 1. That is to increment the value of a by 1. Prefix or pre-increment, postfix or post-increment. Just now I told you, if sum is equal to 10 and count is equal to 20, when you say sum is equal to sum plus count, the value of count will be changed to 21 and then it is going to be used in the calculation of sum. But whereas in the case of post increment, first it uses the value of count and then it uses the value of count by 1. Similarly, the decrement operation. Arithmetic operators. Of course, we all know about certain arithmetic operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. But there is one more operator included here as the percentage of that is called the modulus operator. It is also called the remainder operator. Plus is for adding, minus is for subtracting, asterisk or star symbol is used for multiplication, and the slash symbol, percentage symbol, these two are used for dividing the number, division. But there is a difference between slash and the percentage. Slash is to divide and to get the quotient. Percentage is to divide and to get the remainder. One by one you are going to learn when we start writing the programming. Relational operators. These operators are basically used for comparison. Condition, to check for the condition, if A greater than B, if A greater than C, or less than or equal to C, like greater than or equal to C. The operators are given there, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, two times you need to use that equal to symbol. Not equal to, of course, exclamatory mark with equal to symbol is not equal to, it is going to represent not equal to. Fine. These operators produce true or false, 1 or 0. True means 1, false is 0. Simple example is, suppose to check whether you are eligible for voting. You need to have certain limit, 18 years or 21 years, we do not know. Let's say 18 years. It has to check, or the program has to check for your eligibility for voting. Only if it is greater than or equal to 18 years or above, 18 years and above, isn't it? And above are eligible. So it produces yes or no. Are you below 18 years? You will say yes. Are you above 18 years? You will say no. Something like that. They produce only two outputs. They are true and false. These are used in the conditions. Let's say if condition is one of the statements used in the framing program. Logical operators. Basically, these are called the combining of two or more conditions in a statement. Okay, these are used for combining two or more conditions. These are also called logical and, logical or, logical not. Say for example, if A greater than A is equal to 10, B greater than 5, if both the cases are satisfied, only then the output will be true, because we are using and. Or means either of the two conditions, either of any two conditions, if it is satisfied, it is going to produce true. Logical not, of course, when you say yes, it says no. That is called, that type of operator is called logical operator, not operator. Bitwise, basically these operators are to perform some operations on bits. Bit in the sense it's a binary digit. You have seen already in the third chapter in the data representation. Bits, binary, short form for binary digit. If you want to operate on binary digits, then you will be using these symbols, bitwise and, bitwise or, bitwise exclusive or, bitwise complement, and there is a table given to see how these operators work. There are some more bitwise operators given, like hat symbol or the caret symbol, which is given in the table. And apart from that, you have something like less than symbols used twice, greater than symbol used twice. That is for left shift and right shift operation. Okay, but these things are used in some calculations, binary operations, binary calculations. We will come to know all these things one by one later. Assignment operator, that is equality symbol. When you say this symbol, what is this symbol? You will say equality symbol. But actually this is called an assignment operator in the programming language. It is used to store a value to a variable. It is not to equate anything. When you say A equal to A plus B minus C into D, that's called an expression. When you say that, the value of A will be changed to a new value. The new value will be stored into the variable A. A is equal to 10 is there, B is equal to 10 is there, A is equal to B is there, something like that. You are going to assign a value to a variable. Always the data moves from right to left direction. Right to left direction. Example is given, variable is equal to 5, which means 5 is assigned to variable var. 5 is stored in the memory and the name of that memory location is given as var. And it cannot be 5 equal to var. It becomes an invalid because the data flows in right to left direction. It is not from left to right direction. You are going to store a value or a constant to a variable, but variable cannot be stored in a constant. Okay. General format is given there. Variable equal to constant, variable equal to variable, variable equal to an expression. Some examples are also given there. When you say variable a is equal to 10, that is nothing but variable equal to constant. A equal to b, variable equal to b, variable equal to variable. A equal to a plus b minus c, something like that. Variable equal to expression. That's an example for variable equal to expression. There are certain shorthand operators used in C++ language, that is to simplify the programming instruction. Simplify coding. Coding means writing a program. Coding means writing the instructions in a program. It helps the programmer to simplify the coding. General format will be variable operator equal to expression. Okay, say for example, if x equal to x plus 10 is to be used, okay, x equal to x plus 10 means that can also be written as x minus equal to 10. Like we have x plus plus, it gives only one increment. X minus minus, it gives only one decrement. But in case you have the variable on both the sides of the assignment operator, these shorthand operators can be used. Example, x equal to x minus equal to 10. X equal to x minus 10 can be written as x minus equal to 10. Similarly, x equal to x into 5 can be written as x into equal to 5. Like that. Okay, these are called the shorthand operators, and these help us in writing the code in a simple way or to simplify the coding. Conditional operator. This is also called a ternary operator. A pair, let's say question mark and a colon, these two are used in the expression. Example is given there. X equal to a greater than b, question mark, a colon, b semicolon. Right. A equal to b is expression 1. A value which is given after question mark is called expression 2. And after colon, another variable or an expression is given, that is called xp3. If the condition which is present in the expression 1 is true, it assigns the first entry after question mark into a variable. If the exp1 value is not true, then it assigns the value which is present after the colon. Now in this example, in the example given there, that example says x is equal to 10 because a is 10, which is greater than, it is satisfying the condition given here. So it stores the value x, 10 into the variable x. This is called conditional operator, or it's also called a ternary operator. Conditional or a ternary operator. Special operators are there. There are certain special operators available, like for example, size of operator is there. That is only to check what amount of memory space is allocated to the variable, depending on the data type of the variable. Like for example, integer constant is there, it stores only the integer value. Floating point with fractions, it expects more memory locations to store the value. Similarly, character, one single character, one small amount of memory space is enough. So to see what amount of memory space allocated for a particular variable, size of operator is used. When you want to have more number of statements in a single line, you can use the comma operator. Dot operator is used in the structures or union and also in classes to access the members. Casting is there. That casting is for converting one data type to another data type. And of course, ampersand, address of, and the star pointer operator. Some of the commonly asked questions are given there. For 1 mark, maybe there are 21 questions or 22 questions given here. These Questions are commonly asked in the final examination. Next also 2 marks and 5 marks, 3 marks questions are there. Even these can be asked frequently. These are the questions for your practice in the next session.